Hey guys, welcome back. How are you? It's your boy Hebot coming at you with another video from inside my car. It's been a while. Again, it's a lot going on in my household, with myself, with my health, with our family that has to be addressed and taken care of, and that, quite frankly, is more important than anything else at the moment. That is in the world, right, or around us, or than video games in this case with me, or even collecting. But I haven't forgotten those that have had my back and that've been there and that's been supporting me no matter what through these trying times, through my trying to get things back in order. And I may not express it because of being so busy, but it's definitely not something that I've overlooked or forgotten. So before I get into the topic of today, I want to give a very, very big shout out to my brother from another mother's, Sega man. He's always been showing me love and checks up on me and see how I'm doing. To my brother Tuck, who calls me almost every single day to see how I'm doing. To my brother Iraq, who calls me from time to time, see how I'm doing. My brother Sega Forever, who hits me up all the time from time to time to see how I'm doing, which I'm supposed to do a pop culture podcast with him soon, and about his thoughts and my thoughts on the new He-Man Masterverse animation on Netflix, my thoughts on it, and how I feel was underappreciated and probably one of the best pieces of He-Man animation ever to grace us and to exist. Big shout outs to my brother Poseidon. He did something really, really nice for me. Really, really awesome. Which I haven't been able to do a proper video, which is the reason why I haven't, because it deserves nothing but a proper video to show what he did for me. Because actually the day that I received the wonderful and generous things gift that he gave me, that's the day that unfortunately me and my family, we almost lost our younger daughter, like I said. And it was a travesty that it happened like that, because he went out his way with his big heart to do something without expecting anything in return, and to show someone like me, right, that he cares what I do, and he cares what I bring to the table on YouTube as a video game and Xbox content and toy collector, content creator, and it's nice to know that you're appreciated. It really is. Anyway, I wanted to talk about the whole situation that came out and was being said by this gentleman on Twitter. I'll have the picture in the beginning of this video showing what he said, and I wanted to bring it up, which I think we're going to talk about in the Unlimited Truth as well. But I wanted to bring it up because it was something that I've been saying for years, for a long time. been saying it for a very, very long time, that Sony is very deceptive, and they know how to play their cards to give the illusion and the idea that they're this big, great company, bigger than what they actually are, and gives this perception that they're unstoppable, can't be beat, or that can't be unmatched. When the reality is that they're, a shadow of their former self. And, these are the types of things that make what I have been doing since 2013 till now all worth it. Because it just shows that I've never been wrong, even though people think that my thoughts were all conspiracy theories, right? But I always say, I always try to make my thoughts and my approach of anything I speak upon either with actual facts or historical facts that have been historically either accurate or based on the same pattern through the years. And since I've followed Sony since the very beginning, it's been always the same. And it's that I said, this was a while ago, and I've said it in other podcasts like The Exile and Unlimited Truth, and by myself when We Got Next, where we used to do Direct X with with our brothers over there at Kaleidoscope and Ghost and J-Long and stuff. And even with 100, I've said this before when we spoke. And whenever we did one-on-ones or podcasts with him, that Sony makes most of their money off of casual games, meaning the games that are mainstream, like the Minecrafts, the Destinies, the Call of Duties, the Apex, things like that. And that's where they make their real money, because it's the casual market console. And when you say casual market, that means that it's the console that everybody in the world buys based off popularity, right? They do it with Nintendo Switch as well. They do it, and they do these they make these sales off the casual market because it's what's popular. It's like a phone, like an iPhone, or like when a new pair of Jordans drop and stuff like that. Hold on one second. So because, they're the casual console and the product, people go out and buy it. Meaning all types of people. They just buy it for their kids, their grandkids, their husbands that are, into gaming, or that like stuff like video games, because it's popular. They don't buy it necessarily because it's what's giving them their best value, or what's offering them the best type of games that they actually like or are aware of. Like, I know a lot of Mexicans that live around my area, for example, that all play a lot of games like on PlayStation, but mainly they play soccer games from EA, like the EA FIFAs. They're all playing the FIFA game. And a lot of them play it on the PlayStation because they think, because PlayStation is the more popular console, that's where the best version of the game is. Whether it's whether it's graphically, or whether it's because it has the best online ecosystem when it does it. And they're really not aware of these things, but they just buy it because, again, a lot of their friends, for example, are on PlayStation playing it. So it came out from this guy that I guess is more entwined or inside, or in some way, somehow, with the CMA and all the stuff that's going on, that Sony basically admits that they cannot support their bigger AAA titles without the money from the big third-party games that they have on their platform, right? And This is why they are making such a fuss over things like Call of Duty, that they want it there forever. They don't want to make a deal where it's just 5 years or 10 years. They want it to be a forever thing, and they want it to be parity because they don't want the Xbox version to have any advantage by being on Game Pass, having the maps first, having the better graphical fidelity, better online, whatever the case may be, which is a very ludicrous and very crazy and thing to ask for if this is something that will be owned by Microsoft, right? They'll own it. The developers, the publishers, if they own this, company or this developer, how can another company that has no stakes, no ownership, make such high demands and say, no, you better leave it the same way, you better keep giving it to us, you better not make your version better, because it just makes no sense. It's something that's unrealistic and unheard of. It's like if Coca-Cola helped out, CNC to get them out of debt because they were in debt, for example, right? And they told them to get out of debt if they needed help, and then they go and help them, and then CNC says, "Oh, but you can't make your Coca-Cola version better than our Coca-Cola version," when it's not even their invention. They didn't even create it. They're copying basically of what was made from another company, right? It's just a ludicrous way of even thinking that that's a possibility, or that's even something that can be done or should be done. And so they came out and admitted, and I said this a long ass time ago. I said this very long time ago. I said it in many podcasts, and when I talked, I said that's why Sony loves having those third-party deals. That's why they always beasting on getting third-party deals with exclusivity for a bunch of games, like what they did with Batman, and they've done with other games that we know, like having it first on the console, like the Silent Hill, or having it for 2 years, like Forspoken. That is why they do these type of things, because this is the deals that make them have the perception that they have more exclusives, that they are giving more value to their customers because they go out their way to make these deals. Things like Spider-Man, that they don't own it, but they have that stranglehold with the movie rights. Disney keeps on letting them do it and suck on them and tell, yeah, you can keep making the games and we'll keep it exclusive on your console. All of these things are what makes Sony the money and gives them the perception that people think that they're like this God-sent company that cannot be stopped. And this is the reason why you see that they don't really make profit. And when they do, it's really to keep the doors open, fund their next project, or to just maintain the lights on in their company or in their division, whether it's PlayStation or their movie division, because that's a separate entity, even though they're together, right? So with this whole situation with the CMA and the deals that's going on, it's been letting out a lot of the dirt, so to speak, right? The dirt that has been behind closed doors for a long time, and I believe this information has come to pass because of the subpoena that Microsoft gave them, or asked for in court, for them to show documents of all their dealings and things they've done, for the last 15 years, I think it is, or 10 years. And that's why they decided to come on forward and say what they've said. And so now there's supposedly another mandate they're trying to do, to basically say that if they buy Activision, that they want to make sure that every game now is available on PlayStation's platform. and not be exclusive and not just the one with Call of Duty. Now they're trying to push even more because they know the more they stall and the more they keep making the process difficult for Xbox, they're gonna either aggravate them to the point where Xbox is gonna go, okay, you know what, let's just do it, forget it, we don't care. We can have all games there. You can have Call of Duty for as long as you want. Because it's about whoever blinks first. They want to make Microsoft blink first because they think Microsoft is weak because of how they've done things in the past. That they've always kind of, all right, we let it happen, it's okay, better not next time. And they've always had that attitude and approach. And because of this, Sony trying to make them blink first. It's all about who blinks first. Because Sony doesn't have the money or the power to stop them or dominate them. So, I'm just glad that this whole, Activision thing has came out and has brought upon a bunch of information and a bunch of dirt that for many years, people like myself, right, have said that this is all, the vertical slice is all BS. They know their first party games don't make them money the way that they claim they do. Their first party games sell maybe 4 or 5 million copies. But when you're looking at it as far as the ratio of how many consoles they sold, like for example, they sold 120 or 115 or 110 million PS4 units and only 5 million people bought, let's say, God of War, or 8 million people bought Spider-Man, right? Let's just say. That's not even 1% of 110 or 120. You see? That's why Neil Druckmann came out a while back and said about Uncharted that a lot of people don't play their games, that it's like really small percentage. And people were like, what? They were acting like they couldn't believe that statement, that sounded crazy because it's so popular and it's one of their money makers. Yes, it's one of their money makers because it's one of their games that sold more than their average games or their other, exclusive games. Like their Japanese studios that they had that used to make games like, the The Last Guardian and the other one with the girl that flies, Gravity Rush. Games like that, right? Those games, they didn't sell, even though they made their most unique games for the company. And it's because of that, right, that those games, right, couldn't sustain them, and they end up closing that division because they weren't making any money. And that's what people don't seem to understand. Perception, yes, it's powerful in the sense that it'll make people go out and buy your console because they think it's the number one console in the world. It's the better console. It has the better games, etc., etc. But at the end of the day, if a person purchases your console, like Phil said a long time ago, and yet they don't buy the software, which is where they make their most money, then it's pointless because they're still not making bank to keep sustaining and supporting the other things that they need to. That brings them the revenue to make more games. You know what I mean? And in this case, to support their AAAs. Games like Returnal. They bought the company and sold less than 500,000 units. They were probably hoping that it was going to sell a whole bunch. But I told people, it's not going to sell well just because it's AAA, because those people made excellent indie games like Matterfalls and Ex Machina. And for a long time, their games were really good and unique, and yet nobody bought them. Nobody supported them. They were just games that were not supported. And now all of a sudden they made the first AAA game that they funded. It's not going to mean that people are going to go out and buy it. And they didn't. They didn't do that. And that's where the conversation gets lost with people. Where people get lost in translation. Because people mistaken, perception and the idea that this company is the greatest company of all time versus the reality that they don't make as much money as they need to sustain them, to continue to make other projects that are bigger or new. That's why they end up buying a lot of third-party games and make deals with them. And if they do make, like, for example, God of War, the sequel, Ragnarok, it still was using the same assets from the original game. It was just enhanced, right? Utilizing the power of the PS5. And they added more stuff to the story or to the world. Like, different probably movesets and powers and attributes or armory. Things like that were more cosmetic and generic. But the game overall, when you look at it, it doesn't look much better than the original because they use the same game engine, which saves them a lot of money. So they ultimately don't spend a bunch of money the way people think to make the sequel, and still can capitalize making profit in the sales of whatever they make for the sequel, if that makes any sense. So that's why they're able to do the sequel. You see, because it did well enough to make a sequel, and the sequel didn't need enough money invested in it to create it. So when they're able to create it with less money and still have the same quality, they could at least get away with it, and people will be like, oh yeah, it's still great quality game, and they must have spent millions and it made them so much money, right? When they announced that, oh, we sold 11 million copies, but yet the numbers don't match when they show the quarterly earnings and what they made and what they didn't make for that quarter. You see, it's a lot of vertical slice, and this is what Sony's done for a very long time. So I'm glad that this came out, because I said it long ago, and a lot of people probably thought I was crazy or said I was retarded, that I don't know what I'm talking about. The same old, like with anything I've done to this point. But I knew that was the case. I knew that they were using capital of other games to support their AAA single player and exclusive titles, because there's no reason for them to be as apprehensive and crying in the way they have so diligently over the Call of Duty situation, especially that Microsoft is giving them a fair deal. So it just doesn't make no sense. And that's the proof that they really desperately need Call of Duty to make that money, which is 20% of their earnings on a yearly basis, which probably brings them in close to like 3 to 4, maybe $6 billion a year, just that game alone, so that they can put it towards other games that are AAA and that are exclusive to their platform, so that they can fund it. You see, and unless it's something like Spider-Man, that it's Marvel that's funding it with Disney, and all Sony does is pay for the marketing and which is the publishing, because it's exclusive on their platform or on their console. So you spend money, but it's not as much as making the game from scratch and paying for the development. You see, it's two different budgets. And I'm glad that it's coming out, because the truth will set all of us free, and all the doubters free, and everybody that say, naysayers that say I don't know what I was talking about, that I'm crazy, that I'm a conspiracy theorist, are all been put to rest thanks to this information coming up. So again, thanks for watching, guys. I just wanted to talk about that real quick and give my thoughts on it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Share this video with someone you think might enjoy it as well. Let me know what your thoughts are based on my thoughts, so we can compare them and contrast them, logically in gaming conversation. Big shout outs to my brother Other Zinc also for reaching out, making sure I was okay as well, and if he can help in any way, which is great. To know that you have good people behind you and have your back, like I said, it's a very nice feeling. Also check out my brother Tuck's Lions Den. He's been putting in work. He even started streaming games, which is great. And, it's just sad for me to see that he doesn't get a lot of support, because I know what it feels like. And Tuck, he really tries, and he deserves some love, because he's, he does it from the heart. He really does it from the heart. And he's our brother. He supports all of us, for a very long time. Even those who don't know who he even is. So, check out the Unlimited Truth Wednesday. I think is this coming Wednesday, or not Thursday. I'm going to see if I can do that podcast with my brother Sega Forever sometime this week. I'm going to reach out to him. And then the Wrecking Crew on Friday nights. It's usually late night. Check out The Exile, obviously, on Sundays, every 2 Sundays a month. And the Alpha with my brother Sega Man every Saturday. Or Sunday, depending. Check out, and support my brother, I can't think. I'm drawing a blank. Sorry. Mr. 100. Sorry. My brother 100 every Saturday night with the Xbox Got No Games podcast. And the brothers over there like Livewire and Flip Money, the script. Good guys, and guys that like to have fun and passionate about gaming and don't take no shit, right? So guys, like I said, you can follow me on any social media outlet. The information is down below. You can hit me in the DMs if you ever want to talk, or you want to game, or want to donate anything to the channel from the kindness of your heart. I'll be more than honored and more than glad and more than appreciative to do so, right? So, this is your boy Heba signing off. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Sony admits we can't fund our first-party titles without those third-party AAA money coming in. You know what I mean? It is what it is. It is what it is. Xbox games, they got longevity. That's what we've always said. Sea of Thieves, Forza, Halo, Gears. They keep making that money for Xbox, and people keep playing them because they have longevity. And that comes from the online structure that they have. As much as we want to hate it. So, see you in the next one, guys. Peace and love. Xbox for life. Like a sickness that can't be cured. That's my saying. That's my slogan. Don't get triggered, people. It's all in gaming. It's all in good fun. Peace, guys.